Hey everybody, it's old Chaplain V, back for another look at step number 9, where we make direct amends to those persons we've harmed. When I look back on my own life and making amends, back when in my drinking days, I was classified as a happy drunk. It just seemed like I had a freedom when I was drinking, and it was just a good feeling to have. And of course, that made me happy, and I just reflected that in my relationships with other people. And of course, it was always with strangers and people that weren't family, because family kind of knew me best. And when I was sober around my family, that's when things weren't very well done, because I was more of a control freak than anything else. But one of the things that happened, as I mentioned in the last step, is that through this program, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity, and then we were reported for duty. But, just like the Israelites in the desert, 40 years is a long time to have to experience a soul change, a heart change. But one of the things that kind of came to mind was a reading that I found. It was about worldly grief and godly grief, worldly sorrow and godly sorrow. And I was suffering from what's called worldly sorrow. In other words, things weren't going well. When I was sober, I was depressed about how things were going. I didn't measure up. Things weren't going the way I wanted them to, and I was a control freak. And the more I tried to control things, the more things failed. But godly grief is different. It means we're not relying on God's grace. We're relying on ourselves. And selfishness is self-destruction, as we've learned. And so what I loved about the 12-step program and these workshops is that it kind of opened me up to seeing what, worldly grief is all about, and the language of letting go in AA. So it's become more of a joy experience, as I said in the previous step, to have kind of a servant's heart, really provides relief for us. It gives us that joy. It gives us, we move past the worldly sorrow and we move into the fact that we weren't relying on God. We can say all the words we want, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, but that's theory. And from here to here, like I said, the Israelites, it took them 40 years, so it's not going to change overnight, because we've got a lot of subconscious stuff going on between our ears that we're not even aware of, that shapes our brain. Well, listen, our short is getting shorter, so God bless you, everybody. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, and we'll be back again with more on step number 9. Take care.